Welcome to the Curmudgeon's Kitchen. Today we're going to do some sauerkraut. I really like sauerkraut. Beautiful stuff. Just run out my red sauerkraut that I made from our own cabbages. Unfortunately, it's still early autumn, so we haven't got cabbages fully grown in the garden, but I've got some red cabbages, Savoy, early cabbage, Chinese, I think they call it 1 kilo cabbage, growing, which I'll be using later on. So unfortunately, I've had to go and buy that one. So what we are going to need, and I found this out the hard way, of course, the way I find everything out, is some proper fermenting equipment. In my initial attempt at sauerkraut, I bought one of those ceramic crocks that you're meant to seal with water and put the lid on, and has a little moat that supposedly seals it. Unfortunately, I didn't keep that topped up, and it went off and stank. It was awful. So that put me off for a little while. I eventually went and bought myself a proper fermenting jar, which we did the small green calamatas in this. And that came with some stones, which we're going to need to hold the cabbage down. There's 2 of those. Importantly, proper airlock, so that we don't get contamination, external contamination. And a lid, a silicone lid. Now I've also got another one here, which I'm going to use a bit later on for some fermented ginger, honey and lemon, which I believe is really nice and really good for you. And this is another way you can do it in small amounts. So it's just a normal kilner type jar, and it has a little airlock, one-way valve silicone seal on there. So it's really good for doing small stuff. I'll reiterate that getting that proper airlock is really, really important, as is the salt balance, which we'll talk about in a sec. So you also should have something like this. Now I've bought these, but you could just use a stone that you boil for a while, anything just to weight down the veggies you're trying to ferment. Right, our first step, let's chop up the cabbage, get rid of the outer leaves. Don't have to get rid of too many. And we'll core it and then weigh it. It's difficult to do on an angle. Now I've seen people have got really fancy ways of coring it, but I'm not. I'm just take the hard bit out. Get any outer leaves off that have got dirt around them, but don't rinse it. If you rinse it, you could lose the bacteria that makes it ferment. I don't believe that you should rinse it. My last few batches have been fine, so now we'll just slice it up into the size pieces that we want. Right, cutting it probably 3 millimeter slices, just fairly rough. Now, here's our special bowl for getting the brine ready. Now we have to very carefully weigh our cabbage. There's a good reason for that. This is really easy, by the way. It only takes a little bit of time, a little bit of waiting as well, but waiting when we brine it, also waiting for it to get ready in 2 or 3 weeks' time. Okay, so I have 1.1 kilos of cabbage. We've got 1.1 kilograms of cabbage. We want a 2.5% weight of salt, which is roughly 28 grams. So let's measure out our 28 grams. Getting there. We're being fairly exact with this. We don't want it to be too salty, but we need enough salt in there to ensure that it doesn't go off. Alright, our next move. Sprinkle the salt over the cabbage. This should bring out the water from the cabbage, and that's where we get our brine from. So we're going to mix that through, crush it up. We actually want to break the cabbage up a little bit. And this is the bit that takes the most amount of time, is we're just going to have to leave it for a little while. One thing I forgot to mention that comes with the kit is a lump of wood. This is actually quite handy. You could use anything, and we're going to use that to break up the cabbage a bit. Alright, you'll notice that that's starting to shrink down already. There's quite a bit of moisture coming out of it, so let's just leave that. We'll tidy up a bit and come back in a little while. Alright, so I've left about 15 minutes or so, and as you can see, it's shrunk down a lot. I don't know if we've got enough there yet, but there should be some liquid sitting down the bottom, and that's really important. So we'll start popping it into the jar. We're going to continually sort of pack it down because we want to make sure we've got no air in there, or as little as possible. It's very damp. I usually do this with a red cabbage. I prefer the red cabbages for it, but unfortunately, again, as I said, it's not season for them, and they are horribly, horribly expensive. I think a red cabbage is about $10, which is silly. Luckily, the green ones have come down in price, so it was okay to do. But I've got to remember to make more sauerkraut because this keeps for ages. People say, 3 months in the fridge. Once it's finished fermenting, my last lot I kept probably for about 7 months, 8 months, and it was still really good. Refrigerated, of course. Let's get the last of that in there. And any of the liquid. You'll notice we've not added water. We don't want to add water if we can get away with it. We use the liquid that comes out of the cabbage, and that should be sufficient for the fermentation process. But if not, just drop some boiled water in there. We'll just get rid of the chlorine. I don't have any problem with chlorine in water, or fluoride in water, but boiling it will take it out, and it's probably better for the fermentation process not to have fluoride in your sauerkraut. Alright, we're going to make sure we pack it down tightly. We'll expand back out. I can actually fit two cabbages in here of my own cabbages. In this case, we might just add a tiny bit of water just to make sure it's covered. I think we'll find by tomorrow there will be more than enough water in there. We'll just add a little sprinkle of water. I also don't want to add too much water because that will dilute the concentration of salt and drop it down a bit. And it is pretty touchy on the level of salt. And if we dilute it too much, it'll go off. And as I mentioned, that does not smell good. As I said, really handy having one of these. Could be anything, I suppose. But if you buy the kit, you get one, so it's all in one place. Now we drop our stones in, which were boiled with the jars I did earlier. Get the kettle should be cool now. As I said, little as possible. That should do it. Alright, just push these down, make sure we're getting the air out. See, there's still lots of air coming up. It's not quite covered. Alright, I'm going to keep a close eye on this. We'll check to see where the water comes up in the next couple of hours. And if it's still not up above the stones here, I'll add a little bit more water that's been boiled. Now the hard part. They say to leave it at least a week. I don't think it's any good after a week. 2 weeks it's starting to get there. 3 weeks it's really good. 4 weeks, if you like it strong, sour like I do, that's even better. Then you pop it into smaller jars, stick it in the fridge, and as I said, it keeps for a very long time. Best way to tell if it's okay is smell it. If it smells okay, it'll be okay. If it starts to smell at all mouldy off, chuck it out. Alright, that'll do me for now. Let's seal it up. We'll have a little view in a few hours time, see if the water's filled up. Every now and again we'll give it a bit of a push down with our magic stick. It'll expand back up a little bit. Put our lid on. There's nothing. With our airlock, which has lost its cap. It's around here somewhere, but I'll find it. Up on the shelf it goes, and we just leave it. Alright, have fun, see you in the garden, or the kitchen in this case. Right, so as we can see from the image, the water's risen above the weight stones, so we don't need to add anything more. All we need to do now is just wait those few weeks, and hopefully it'll be a good batch again. Thanks for hanging around for this little end bit. Bye.